What up, world? What up, congregation? We're gonna go and get into this Revelations chapter 8, 7th seal, prelude to the 7 trumpets. When you open the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven for about a half an hour. So the 24 elders unless once again King James put some trickery in here, my understanding tell me my theory of the 24 elders has to hold some fact to it, some weight to it, because chapter 8 said it was silence in heaven for about a half an hour. So we got time in heaven also. Then another angel, having a golden censer, came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. Now, people call me the devil. I've owned up to having devilish ways, allowing the devil to have control over me. But we talking 20-some years transitioning from a demon to a saint, from a Satan to a Jesus. And one thing I understood about Jesus is that the story of Jesus is basically a man having enough discipline, having enough strength in whom Jesus believed in, having enough faith that whom Jesus believed in was telling the truth. And to me, Jesus is the blueprint to get into heaven. You're a Jesus. Your dad, your mom, every human being, every God, every goddess you come in contact with has the capabilities to be a Jesus, have to know how to walk, have a conscience, know right from wrong. So I look at Jesus as the blueprint to everything I've read about the Creator, your Maker, commandments. And you see how these angels, took the prayers of saints, to the altar. And the smoke of the incense with the prayers of the saints ascended. Therefore God from the angel's hand. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar and threw it to the earth. Fire. That's what it says, Revelation. In the Old Testament, the world was renewed, restored. Sin was washed away through a great flood. That's the book of Noah. It said the second coming of destroying the earth, washing the earth of all its sins, it would be fire. So from the altar, fire was thrown upon the earth. And I'm not gonna not say these wildfires, this, some parts of the world the climate is so extreme, it probably feel like or it may feel like your skin is burning. You know, most people in these third world countries, they're really filled with, you know, a lot of deserts. You know, it's no shade, it's no cool climates. They wear a lot of garments to cover their skin. You know, it kind of helps from the sun, the heat from the sun rays from burning your skin. So if you really feel the weather just in America has changed, you know. I'm in Virginia, and the weather we get in Virginia now is way hotter than the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. So this rock we live on, you know, it's heating up. It really is. It's heating up with a lot of, let's say, what would they call it? Wind. What would they call that? Atmosphere. Your atmosphere out here is muggy. You know, it's heating up with a lot of hate. It definitely been heating up with a lot of crime. So let's get back into this. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and threw it to the earth. And there were noises, thunderings, lightnings, and an earthquake. So the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. First trumpet, vegetation struck. The first angel sounded, and hail and fire followed, mingled with blood, and they were thrown to the earth, and a third of the trees were burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. That's like something, you know, if you look at California, I believe since I was a child, they've always had some type of fire, some type of wildfire starting. Just the atmosphere and the dirt, the grass, or just a piece of paper sparking because it's so hot, so humid. As they say, on a good summer day in California, you cook an egg on the ground. So I just imagine that anything can, you ignite, can start a fire if it's the right compounds, the right paper, you know. If you have the right compounds all in one place, it could, just the wind make a spark that. Second trumpet, the seas struck. Then the second angel sounded, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea became blood. A third of it. You know, you got 1/4, you got a half, then you got 3/4, then you got the whole ocean. So if a third of that ocean is just blood, that's a lot of, you know, tainted water. That's a lot of death being consumed by living creatures. And a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. Now, in Jesus' days, you know, the ships in our time, modern times, not the same. You know, they're little wood boats, you know. And if it's just Jesus' vision after Jesus has passed, then the right word ships could be used, you know, because whatever killing the creatures in the ocean, it's in the air, it's in the atmosphere, the chemicals, radiation. So if man is upon that ship, man is dying because you're consuming it, you're breathing it in. Third trumpet, the waters struck. Then the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch. And it fell on the third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the water because it was made bitter. Tainted water, right? Something you consume kills you from the inside out. So, if you're unhealthy, it shows. You know, your skin, you know, you look at I have sometimes blemishes, darker skin tone than other spots on my face. I noticed that when I smoke cigarettes a lot, I chain smoke cigarettes a lot for weeks and weeks, months and months, that begins to happen. And when I see that I'm not smoking cigarettes, I'm, you know, going days without smoking cigarettes, then it get to weeks without smoking cigarette, my skin tone started to blend in better. I used to get a pain sometimes when I didn't drink a lot of water, didn't eat a lot of salads. And it would feel like the shock pain that I've talked to, like cancer, you know, cancer survivors that had lung cancer and stuff like that. So I used to get these shock pains, you know, and it seemed like I'd never get them if I continuously eat salads. I continuously to exercise. And when I read up about cancer, you know, it's tricky because it lay dormant inside of your body, just waiting to build itself to a stage where that surgery is about the only thing that's going to cure you, that's going to slow the process down of killing your organs from the inside. And it was told that exercise, you know, after you do your chemo, after you do your radiation, you go through the cancer surgery process, they tell you your diet should be salads, vegetables, and exercise. Exercise produces fresh new oxygen inside your body. Our blood needs oxygen to keep producing. Our organs, our lungs need to breathe. So if you're continuously doing just 5 push-ups a day, you're rejuvenating the inside of your body, which will show on the outside of your body. Now, if you're dying with inside, eventually the outside of your body will show you're dying in the inside. Fourth trump, the heavens struck. Then the fourth angel sounded, and a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of them were darkened. A third of the day did not shine, and likewise the night. And I looked, and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because of the remaining blast of the trumpet of the 3 angels who are about to sound. Well, that's about the end of chapter 8. Not a whole lot right there in the 4th trumpet, but I get it, you know, I get a lot has through these seals has died. You know, our trees, our water, You know, and it goes back to the part of scarcity. You know, you start killing off the land, you know, the animals of the land. Man has to figure a way to provide food and have to figure a way to eat the right food. So self-preservation is always the key. And we always have to think how to live, have options, have another way to feed ourselves. You know, some people I've met can live off bread and water, just can live off it. Don't want to put meat in their body, don't want to put poultry in their body. You know, don't want to put seafood in their body. Well, poultry is this, chicken and seafood is the same thing, poultry. But at one time I didn't put red meat in my body. I only put fish, chicken, and beans. Always vegetables, you know. A lot of spinach. Spinach is a good oxidant, I believe that's what it's called. Oxygen or something like that, but it's good for the body. It's a good vegetable to help your body fight, to help your blood. You know, it increases good blood cells. But I'm gonna get up out here and Sunday we'll start with the fifth trumpet, the locusts from the bottomless pit. That's chapter 9 of Revelations, and we'll get into that Sunday.